The James Webb Space Telescope's first images are truly groundbreaking, showing us things we never thought we'd be able to see into the universe. However, it's easy to forget that the Webb telescope has been a source of contention. Stay tuned to find out whether the NASA will rename the telescope and why this is such a controversial issue. And trust us, you don't want to miss this. First up, will space giant NASA rename the James Webb Space Telescope? Here's everything you need to know. The James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, first images are breathtaking. The telescope's deep infrared eyes are illuminating regions of the universe we'd never before seen clarity. NASA, the giant European space agency, along with the Canadian Space Agency, collaborated on this telescope, with more than 300 universities, businesses, space agencies, and organizations involved in creating the epic scope. Now, it's easy to forget that the Webb telescope has been a source of contention and controversy. But why, you might ask? Well, it's named after a NASA administrator who was linked to the persecution of gay people during the so-called Lavender Scare, which took place back in the 50s and 60s. But first, who exactly is James Webb? James Edwin Webb was born in North Carolina back in 1906. He earned degrees in education and law and served in the United States Marine Corps. Then in 1961, U.S. President John F. Kennedy appointed Webb as the second administrator of NASA since the agency's inception in 1958. He was pretty much solely in charge of the Apollo program, which aimed to land humans on the moon. Webb was also very successful in lobbying Congress for support, and he also guided NASA through the difficult, extremely tragic aftermath of an incident where 3 Apollo 1 astronauts died in a capsule that caught fire whilst on the ground. Furthermore, in a Cold War environment where every space mission was a political tool, Webb pushed for science to be prioritized. However, Webb left NASA before Apollo 11 flew to the moon in 1968, but later in life, he served on various advisory boards and was involved in the Smithsonian Institution, the United States flagship cluster of museums, educational institutions, and research facilities until he passed away in 1992. But what exactly was the Lavender Scare and Webb's involvement with it? Well, Western capitalist democracies feared communism infiltrating during the Cold War, and this was dubbed the Red Scare. The paranoia was linked to the Lavender Scare. Areas of these ideas put forth the argument that because of the social stigma associated with their sexuality, LGBTQ people were vulnerable to being blackmailed into becoming Soviet spies. The LGBTQ community people were also reportedly purged from US government employees beginning in the late 1940s. While the precise role of Webb in the Lavender Scare is hotly debated, several astronomers who have petitioned to rename the telescope have stated that Webb was involved in high-level meetings regarding the Lavender Scare policies. So will the telescope be renamed? Now, space instruments are typically named through a consultation process, with the public often invited to contribute ideas. It's also not uncommon for the original names to be altered or changed completely. The name Webb was reportedly chosen in 2002 by NASA Administrator Sean O'Keefe, but following the debate, currently NASA's official response is that there is no evidence at this time that justifies changing the name of the telescope. So whatever Webb's role in the highly controversial Lavender Scare, the question for some observers appears to be whether he was personally homophobic. Now, the James Webb Telescope is a reference point for issues that have recently come into light. For example, there's been a lot of backlash against memorializing colonial heroes who perpetrated violence against indigenous and enslaved people, resulting in the removal of statues all over North America and the rest of the world. Others argue that maintaining historical barriers to science participation based on race, class, gender, and disability means we are losing potential talent. It's no secret that science is supposed to be completely objective and unbiased. However, scientists and science administrators, like everyone else, have their own ideologies and flaws. But what do you think? Should the popular trending telescope name be changed or just left as is? Now, in other space news, China is seriously considering a reusable heavy lift rocket. According to various recent media reports, China is considering developing a fully reusable Long March 9 mega rocket variant in the aftermath of SpaceX's Starship. The Long March 9 would most likely use the same fuel as SpaceX's Starship, which is responsible for deep space missions as well as NASA's human moon landings. The two designs have similar heavy lift capabilities and fuel types, but their structures are vastly different. Starship, for example, can perform in-air flips while landing. Additionally, the variant could take to the skies as early as 2035. The Chinese government has long been developing the Long March 9 for operational use in the year 2030, primarily to expand China's and Russia's International Lunar Research Station. According to various news outlets, the country revealed a concept so unique that the new Long March 9 variant that is fully reusable would be a pretty dramatic departure from another version that was presented last year, which included only a reusable first stage. Now, the two-stage reusable variant of Long March 9 would use a total of 26 Methalox engines in the first stage and will be capable of carrying 150 tons to low Earth orbit, 65 tons to geosynchronous transfer orbit, or 50 tons to the moon via translunar injection. To date, China has launched over 400 missions, the vast majority of which have been powered by the Long March rocket family. Additionally, the Long March 5 5B series is the most well-known current variant, having launched various missions such as China's first interplanetary mission. Furthermore, the Long March 8 family, which has completed 2 missions and is pursuing reusability like the Long March 9, may eventually be able to land like SpaceX's Falcon 9, but it is powered by a kerosene fuel mix. According to online reports, Chinese commercial launch companies Landspace and iSpace have also been developing Methalox launchers and may have been working with the Chinese government, creating another potential pathway for Methalox use by Chinese missions. The Chinese government also demonstrated a potential 2-stage methane liquid oxygen rocket in February, which appears to be very similar to Starship's design. It all remains to be seen how this plays out, or if China will be able to make this their next go-to rocket. And finally, Blue Origin has revealed the names of the next 6 people who will be traveling to space. And here is all the inside information. Blue Origin has revealed the identities of the next 6 people who will travel to suborbital space. Blue Origin announced that the first Egyptian and Portuguese astronauts will be aboard the NS-22 mission. Now, Blue Origin is yet to announce a specific flight date for this group, but has stated that one will be announced very soon. Now, this latest crew announcement came almost exactly a year after the company's first crew flight, which launched to space on July 20th, 2021, with founder Jeff Bezos and Mercury 13 member Wally Funk aboard. Blue Origin has not previously disclosed how much passengers paid. Competitor Virgin Galactic sells seats for $450,000. While most passengers on the New Shepard spacecraft pay their own way or are invited by celebrities, a few are sponsored. The most recent launch on June 4th included a person sponsored by the nonprofit Space for Humanity, which flies people to space for free after an application process. But let's take a closer look at the 6 names aboard Blue Origin's next trip to space. First, Sarah Sabri. And now, Sabri is the founder of the Deep Space Initiative, which aims to increase accessibility for space research and will be the first Egyptian to fly into space, according to Blue Origin. In 2021, she became Egypt's first analog astronaut after completing a 2-week simulated moon mission. Space for Humanity is sponsoring Sabri's seat. Next up, Mario Ferreira will also be flying to space. According to Blue Origin, Mario Ferreira will be the first Portuguese person to fly into space. Ferreira is the president of Plurus Investments Group and a Portuguese entrepreneur and investor. Thirdly, Vanessa O'Brien, who's a British-American explorer attempting to become the first woman to complete the explorer's extreme trifecta of reaching space. She has already summited Mount Everest and explored our planet's deepest extent, the Challenger Deep, the other 2 requirements of the trifecta. After Victor Vescovo, who flew on Blue Origin NS-21 on June 4th, O'Brien will be the second person to complete the trio of challenges. Clint Kelly, the third, will also be flying into space with Blue Origin. But who is he? Well, Kelly founded the Autonomous Land Vehicle Project at the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency in 1984, which Blue Origin describes as an early-stage effort related to autonomous driving technology. Fifth on the list is Steve Young. Between 1992 and 2021, Steve Young ran Young's Communications LLC, a telecommunication contracting firm in Florida. Young is a member of the Space Coast Coastal Conservation Association's committee, as well as the owner of the Pineapples restaurant in Melbourne, Florida. And finally, Kobe Cotton, who actually co-founded the YouTube channel Dude Perfect, which Blue Origin claims has 57 million followers and is the service's most subscribed sports channel. Cotton founded Dude Perfect in 2009 with college roommates Garrett Hilbert, Tyler Toney, Cody Jones, and his brother Corey Cotton, with a focus on comedy videos and trick shots. Moon DAO sponsored Cotton's seat. Members buy tokens to participate in a collective united by the mission of decentralizing access to space research and exploration, according to the website. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.